Good afternoon, folks. Steve Sisler here again, and I thought I would take this opportunity to profile another person. So, like the last time we did this, the names have been changed to protect the innocent. So let me begin by getting rid of this little thing here. And let's start looking at this profile. Let me see, how can I move this over? Well, I think that'll be fine. Okay, we're beginning with this person who I've called Hey Jude. Okay. So let's look at the natural profile here. So we have a true believer. A true believer is an individual who leans into two of the soft skills and then the fear emotion right here. And again, this is our Living Trilogy assessment system provided by yours truly under the auspices of Human Acumen. Let us look at the intentional behavior set here. Okay, here we have a person who the anger emotion, this is their natural emotional position. So this is them being their natural, authentic self. This emotional framework, I'm going to say, is a result of two things. DNA and environmental influence. Now, for those of you who question or have questions concerning is it nature or nurture when it comes to personality, behavior, even the kind of clothes we may want to wear, then I'm going to tell you it's both. So the idea that human beings are born into the earth as a blank slate or a blank blackboard, and then the parents write on that blackboard, and then voila, we have a personality type, then that's wrong and archaic. We've learned more about the brain in the last 5 years than we have in the last 5,000 years. And that's absolutely not true. If you are interested in two of the best resources on this subject, The Blank Slate, written by Dr. Steven Pinker, and The Nurture Assumption by Judith Rich Harris. Those are the two best resources for that information if you want to look at it yourself and have some real fun with that. I invite you to do so. So, looking at this individual here, this is a female, by the way, in real life. So anger's coming in at a 30, which is an amiable, easygoing, indirect brain type. When making changes in the day-to-day, she cuts this nearly in half. This is a conscious effort. You have to understand that when we're in shared existence with other human beings, in order to be successful and in order to survive that environment, we shift allegiances in our emotional framework in order to properly navigate the environment we're in. So if this individual is a stay-at-home mother, she's making these adjustments in an effort to work with her children. If she's working, this could reflect her work environment. If she's single and not working, this may reflect the relationship with her husband and peers in her day-to-day depending upon who she's in contact with. Either way, it's a conscious decision that is made by her in an effort to be more successful in the environment she finds herself in most of the day. All right, let's move into optimism. Optimism is an emotion that is used to connect with human beings, to connect with people. It's the emotion we use to really plug into another person and have verbal exchanges. It's the emotion that tends to be the most instinctive. It tends to be somewhat creative. It tends to be somewhat visceral. And how that it is more fluid rather than static. And it's active, which means this emotion is easily activated when in the presence of other people and we begin to limbically loop with them, which is to engage with another human being emotionally. All right. So you can see that there's emotional engagement going on in the current day-to-day. And as a rule, for her brain type. Moving down to the patience, we see that patience is in play because it's above 50, obviously. And we're hovering in the low 80s here consistently. This is the preserving orientation. And I think I viewed the last email I did and was disappointed with myself because I failed to be consistent with a couple things. So let me do that right now. If you remember, the anger emotion is a taking emotion when the anger emotion is purposely being used in order to gain results in the world. So people that are strong naturally, or they're strong in an adaptive sense, intentionally, in the anger emotion, which means it's in play, then they see all valuable things as lying outside of themselves, and they must be seized upon in an effort to retain them. So these are the takers. They see all valuable things as lying outside of themselves, and if they want them, they believe they must take them by force. Okay? Optimistic emotional types, this emotion, the orientation associated with this emotion is attracting. And so people that have a higher optimistic sense and they lean into this emotion, they see themselves and others as commodities with market value. And so they believe the better the package, the more attractive they become to other suspecting individuals in the world. So think about this. Think about dressing up the mannequin in your store window in order to attract consumers so that they'll come in and buy what you have. People that are highly optimistic, this is what they do. They dress themselves up in a way that reflects what they believe any particular consumer walking by their window would like to see in order to solicit them and attract them and magnetize them in coming into their store so that they can check out what they have to offer. And so this is how this brain type works. So obviously these people aren't thinking, it's not about, they're not thinking what you know, they're thinking who you know, all right? Patience is a preserving orientation. And what do I mean by that? Like the anger emotion, they see all things of value as lying outside of themselves, but rather than believing they must take it by force, what they believe is they should wait and to receive what is valuable and outside of themselves, because they believe valuable things can only be received from outside sources. Now this is a little complex, and so let me just say this. If I'm talking kind of funny, it's because I'm wearing Invisaligns. So I noticed too, on that last video, I'm doing all kinds of weird things like sucking my teeth and making sounds. So if I sound a little weird in the mouth, it's because I'm wearing Invisaligns. Okay, back to the responding orientation. So people that are more patient tend to be more responsive. They wait for something else to happen in an outside realm, and then they tend to respond to it. So I just got a message. Would you be open to writing me a letter of recommendation for my college admission? Yes. All right. Okay. So back to patience. If we can finish this. There's a lot to be said about that, so I think I might do a whole video on it, on the orientations. Maybe you'll like that. The patient's orientation does not want to upset the apple cart. They do not want to disturb the hand that feeds. They fear letting people down, and a variety of other things that are very important to understand. So that is in play here. Let's look at fear. So what's the orientation with fear? The fear orientation is preserving. So the preserving orientation is an individual that sees the outside world as colder, crueler, and darker. Okay? So what does that mean? There's an awareness, a heightened awareness of the cruel condition of the world. So the preserving brain types believe no good thing can come from the outside world. So it's dangerous. So the best thing they can do is hold on to what they already have and protect it from hostile forces or entities. And what that means is they tend to pull everything into a fortified position, like a fort, and they protect what they have. So this is the person that holds all the passwords in your company. When you ask them if you can get that password, they want to know why, who wants you to have it, blah, 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 blah. They're trying to protect the password from bandits and those who could misuse it, misplace it, and upset the entire framework of the organization. So they become the protectors. Sometimes we call these brain types hoarders. That sounds a little rough, but a hoarder is somebody who protects, preserves, and holds on to and hoards information lest it fall into the wrong hands. Okay. All right. There's a lot there, but we're going to stop there. I'll say this. Former Vice President Al Gore is a very high fear orientation. So he's trying to protect the earth from all the bad people who are trying to ruin it. So that's a good example of that. Get this text going here. All right. Let's go to the behavior matrix. So the behavior matrix is clear. Anger is less consistent, so there's more tolerance. Optimism, there can be persuasiveness, trying to convince you to come into my store and buy my wares. Patience is a more passive orientation here, and the fear is procedural. The strengths, the greater strengths here are going to be passivity and persuasiveness. So these here are your softer skills. So these are the people elements. One is outgoing, which is optimism, and patience is friendly. Very different. Friendly is very unobtrusive, and outgoing is a little more in your face. So because we're not emotional up here, where it's lower, down here at persuasive, and patience is higher here, then there's an offset that's taking place, especially seeing that the fear is in play. So this person isn't super outgoing. They're easygoing would be more like it, and friendly. So easygoing and friendly people tend to be looking for positive signals in the world. They're looking for the good news, and they don't like being bearers of bad news. If I look at the psychic energy, I don't know why I'm so important today. If I know some of you might be thinking, shut your damn phone off. So I'm going to silence it. Okay. So here we got a brain type largely analytical here. So this is because of patience and fear combination, which is going to create, if you see up here, more of an introverted brain type. So this style is both people-oriented and task-oriented. So intuition in the emotional set and intricacy in the fear set. So these are the allies that are coming into play here. Their need to experience the world and connect to the people in it makes them reliable, a reliable people person. It also makes them somewhat of an opportunist. Now, this whole good and favorable world and, quote, this too shall pass world are signs of their passivity. It's all good, and don't worry, it'll be fine. And this is how this brain type works. Now, what's interesting, if you remove the patience out of this dynamic and you end up with just fear and optimism, you end up with a strategic planner. And what that means is there's planning ability in the mind, which is formulating a strategy to move forward based upon what could happen in the future. There's this piece that's happening. So we have to make sure we plan correctly, because planning takes logical stepwise thinking. And this higher end people piece, which is this limbic driven visceral connecting piece together. And so although I'm viscerally connecting with people, anticipating results, I'm anticipating something happening that could be good and opportunistic. I'm also making sure I choose the words wisely that I use with people for fear of saying the wrong thing coming from the fear emotion. So people that have a higher fear emotion that is directly proportionate to their optimistic emotion creates a specific scenario. It means they tend to consistently think about increasing their skills in the world and their talent because they have a heightened awareness of what people are thinking about what they're doing and saying. And then when you put the patience in between that, there's a fear of disappointing and letting people down. Oh man, what an amazing personality that starts to produce. Okay, what do I want to look at? All right, let's go to this person's temperament. Now, I haven't seen any of this yet. I changed the name, but I didn't look at anything. So I'm going to be as surprised as you. So that'll be fun. All right. I think I'm going to get kicked out. Bam it. I knew it. All right, let's try this again. Just lingering too long. Sorry. Let me get back in here. Oh, wait a minute. I'm way down here. Where is it? Hey, Jude. Here we go. Temperament. All right, this is the big five. Let's look at the personal summary. Okay. Oh, interesting. So, all right, openness to experiences. We have a 75 here. Openness to experience has two subtraits, aesthetics and theoretics. So we'll look at that because it's higher. Conscientiousness, 55, Extroversion, 60. Aha, that's a clue. So, 60, it's only 10 points above 50, so not super. Remember how I said this, I told you this, when the patience is up and the optimism is down, that outgoing, friendly, it tends to, see, less extra. I said they're a little more introverted because of this. Bingo, here it is here. All right, and then agreeableness, 80. Ooh, I want to look at that. And then neuroticism is a 35. So let's look at openness here, see which one's which. So interesting. Okay, so intellect. So the theoretical piece is a little more in play than the aesthetics piece, but they're both in the 70s, which makes this person open to new experiences and wanting to experience the world, not just live in the world. Conscientiousness is a 65. Orderly is down. Okay, interesting. I want to see. I'm making a mental note here that will get lodged in my mind. Industrious, 65. I want to see how this plays out in their axiology now because of this orderliness. Let's look at extroversion. Okay, yeah, okay, moderate. All right, yeah, high, but all right, agreeableness. Okay, 80. So agreeable people, very high. So agreeable people, compassion and politeness. This tends to correlate with sacrifice. Willing to let go of mine so you can have yours. That'll be interesting to see. Neuroticism. Withdrawal. All right, withdrawal's creeping up. Volatility is down. They don't get angry, right? So we know that because the anger emotion is down, but some people will shock you. Volatility can be up with the anger emotion down, and when that monster comes out of the closet, nobody's prepared for it at all. But here, we've got withdrawal happening to some degree, little more. So this is a turning in. So I'm going to assume the axiology self-scores are going to reveal this a little bit more. All right, let's look at the motivation. Well, wait a minute. Let's do this. Let's look at the temperament matrix. So openness, curious, conscientiousness, balanced, extroversion. Bingo. See that? Friendly. This is remarkable. Agreeableness, compassionate, and then predictable in the neuroticism. All right, let's look at motivation. And the further we go into this, the more I'm putting all of this together. Unconventional. This is very rare. This is very rare. We only have 3 motivational orientations that are in play here. And curiosity and unconventional and originality are both higher, about a 1 out of 1,000 people. I'm going to say maybe 1 out of 1,100 for this one. Maybe 1,200 to be honest. Okay. So power down. So this is creating flow between itself here and low dominance in the behavior report. So I think that was a 16. So in the day-to-day, so that taking orientation is lower, support is higher, which means this person doesn't like shouldering any more responsibility than they have to. So we got 2 supports going on here, which is in line with agreeableness in the big 5. Support. It's not about what I need. What do you need? Not me, you, right? So there's a concerted effort to put themselves into the back seat. They're not running up to the vehicle. I'm riding shotgun. They just get in the back without saying anything. So this person is, I'm just going to say it, is sort of disvaluing their own place and space in the world. So higher power orientations want to be in control of their own space. And this could be directive, managerial, authoritative, forceful. It doesn't matter. But they want to have their hands on the steering wheel if they're in a car. This person doesn't have to drive. So the reason why they're doing this could be several reasons. We're going to find out the exact reasons soon, but there are a few reasons for this. When you see sacrifice higher and power lower and individuality even lower, so you have a series of steps. Orange is down here, red moves up, yellow up the stairs to the right here. Then what ends up happening is there's a devaluation of themselves in the world. So I'm, how does this look? So think of a person going, you compliment them and they're like, oh shucks, I'm embarrassed, this kind of a thing. It's not a coming out party. It's more of a, I don't want to let you in the house. I don't really know you that well, so I'll just leave this outside the door and you can take it. Kind of a feeling. I'm trying to describe what I'm feeling when I look at this. Let's look for a couple more things here. Compliance is lower. So we have defiant. Let me see how low that actually is. So we'll look at the compliance mode. Ooh. Okay, 16. We've crossed the event horizon here. All right. Let's see what is going on. Remember, in the temperament, the big five, I noticed something. I'll just take you to it. And conscientiousness. Remember, orderly, right here? I said, that's interesting. I'm going to revisit that. Well, here we are revisiting it. Compliance is married to orderly. And look, no order. No order here. So let's look at the compliance. See, it's defiant. Look up here. Regulated. See that? Regulation. Methodicism right here. Methodical. Here it is. Orderly. No. There is no inner order here. So we've got a very, very complex person. That's not a negative. They're a complex thinker. Let's look at their curiosity. 66. Okay, that's pretty high. This is a need to uncover, discover, and recover information. This is an emotional need to know why, gather the facts and the interesting elements out of the earth, out of the world. And so I want to also look at originality. And we got a 73 just on the edge of the event horizon here. Bingo. That's really high. And so, wow, we got a person who is really interested and formulating, this work-life balance in the world. This here creates experimentism. Let me see what I ended up calling him here. Freedom seeker. No, that's not a freedom seeker. It is, but it isn't. So I've got to update this. That's not what I want to see. I'm going to have to create a caveat here in the algorithm, because what I would like to, I want this one to fall into the experimenter. Now, it's rare that anybody does this without me talking to them in all of my business that there is, except for very few. Freedom seeker will work. So that's fine. I'm not gonna swallow a gnat and strain a camel here. Strain a gnat and swallow a camel on this. But I'm just saying, I'm thinking out loud. I would rather see an experimenter, because that's more what this is if you really come down to it. All right. Okay. Now we're going to have fun. We're going into the axiology now. Let's go to the world summary first. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I have the need to just rub my face here and get ready for this. It's funny how I just see a number and it evokes in me a whole set of feelings. Like I feel like I'm inside this person. So, okay. This is a thinker. Now, there's so much happening here inside of my head. Thinker, but they're not orderly. Thinker, disorderly. That doesn't seem to work. Well, it shouldn't work. But they're unconventional. That's the issue. So they got an unconventional score. If they're not unconventional, this entire set of, this whole paragraph here, this whole thing does not show up if they're not unconventional. You won't get this. You'll just get this paragraph up here and then this one. So they became unconventional. This world perception score is extremely good. It's extremely good. I mean, look. 21 through 30 is really good. And we got a 22. 20 is rare. Very rare. It's excellent. Anything below 20 is incredibly excellent. So really good is kind of better than really good. It's exceptional. Outer directed 40, that's high. All right, that's really high. I don't personally like seeing their IO score high. High is 40. I like to see less than 30. And I have my reasons. But 70% of the world is auto-directed, but not everybody is as high as a 40. So this means there's an extreme, and I don't know if extreme's too big of a word, too strong of a word or not, but there's this heavy, I'll just say heavy, there's a heavy reliance on the external world in order to move forward in that world. Now remember what I said earlier, if you go back to the behavioral orientation here, okay, and let's go to the responding orientation. So this is the patience. See how high this is? And, you know, it's actually not a 62, but on a 100 scale, it's in the 80s. All right, see this right here? All right, now go back to the world summary. You see that? There's flow here. That very high patience. Remember the responsive orientation. I see all things of value as lying outside of myself, but I can't have it unless you give it to me. Right? So they can only receive what is valuable from an outside source. They can't take it. So they're dependent on you giving it to them. Right? Okay. So you see here, outer-directed types, you know, perceive the world around them with a greater perception than they perceive themselves. So greater weight is given to the outside influencing agents. I must depend upon you for what I want because I can't pull myself up on my own bootstraps. I'm not depending on me to go get it myself. I'm depending on you to get it down off that shelf for me. It's too tall. Is this coming together for you? All right. So we have that happening here. But the perception is really good. So let's look at why the perception is really good. Let's see where that's coming from. Oh my God. Okay. Look at this. This is keenly perceptive individual. She is really, this girl is a seer. Okay, I am very keen. Now we got 100% negative valuation simply because we have a 0 overvaluation and a 0 overvaluation and a 0 undervaluation. This is extremely rare. And there's only a 2 negative, which means it's not even worth mentioning based upon what's going on here. So I'm not going to get into this, but this is basically nothing gets by this person at all. Nothing. This is a very, very interesting. Dadgummit, very, very interesting. Okay, let's go to practical thinking. 70, that's good. So lacking urgency. Remember I said they're a thinker. So the strength is coming from the next dimension. Practical thinking is the dimension of useful things in the world. It's the dimension of useful things. So clearly, she is aware of what is useful. So when we are at our best in this area, we are productive. Why? Because we know what is useful. If you know what is useful, and you know what needs to be done, you know what useful item will get the job done. Okay? So let's say I have to dig a hole. And before me are 3 tools: a screwdriver, a shovel, and a kite. All right? Everybody looks at that and you say, what do I got to do? I got to dig this hole. What's the best thing to use? Most people are going to grab the shovel. Okay? That's a very, very, very basic form of practical thinking. Now, I set that up so that you would wonder why anybody would pick the kite. All right? But a 3-year-old will pick the kite, I'll tell you that. And that's because their neocortex is underdeveloped, it's severely underdeveloped. But what about people with developed neocortexes they're in a workplace situation and they need to pick the shovel because they're digging a hole, so to speak, but they keep picking the kite and the job isn't getting done. And everyone's like, what the hell? What? What are you doing? Have you ever worked with somebody and you left them to their own devices and then you come back and you wonder why on earth they did this instead of that? This is the dimension that will measure all that as to why. So what do we call that? That's called, in axiology, bumping into the world. So rather than being useful in the world, you're bumping into it. It's like you're bumping into the very thing you should use, but you're not using it. So it's like you don't know where to go, so you just walk around like a Roomba, and you just keep bumping into things until there's nothing in your way, and then you go. But it's not because you know that's where you need to go, it's because there's no other place to go. So sometimes people will try the kite. It's like bumping into the wall if you're a Roomba. Okay, that didn't work. Then they try the screwdriver. Well, I'm getting something dug here, but it certainly isn't the most efficient in the world, so that's not working. And then they pick up the shovel. Oh, great, this works. But they couldn't have told you that. In foresight, they can only tell you the shovel works in hindsight. Okay? So some people have better hindsight than foresight when it comes to practical application. And axiology allows us to see why that is so, and it's because of their valuations and how much in line with reality they are. Okay, I gotta slow down. All right, so what do we got here? We got a situation, we got a 90, negative 70 clarity. So clearly they know what should be done and when to do it. But they're choosing, I say choosing because they know. When your clarity is above a 60, let's say, the odds of you being surprised at the idea that what you're doing isn't working isn't really likely to happen. But if the clarity here was a 15, then they would not understand why something isn't working or why they misprioritized. So this person here is prone to procrastination because the good about being productive is undervalued. It's undervalued. Focus is also undervalued. So we have an inattentive score. Only by 1 if you do the math, a -2 and a +1. So I'm not going to worry about this. But I will tell you, because this number is large and it's -7 to 0, this little 1 here becomes a little bit more significant. Okay, it's just the way that works. So if we look down here, this is a really big paragraph, but this is what I wrote to describe what you see going on here. So I want to take you through it for a minute to help you understand practical thinking. This person can understand the consequences that will likely see, that's my Invisalign, result. It was hard to do that with my tongue, so I skipped it. My brain just skipped it without my permission. Did you catch that? I'm just going to read this. You can understand the consequences that will likely result from your specific choices and actions. In other words, if I choose the screwdriver, I shouldn't be surprised that I couldn't dig the hole really fast. You can understand both the benefits and the risks associated with your decisions and actions. This is why I say this person, if they're choosing to procrastinate, it's on purpose. You can be productive and will prioritize and manage your time wisely. Here it is, if you choose to. Okay, so nothing's getting by this person because the clarity's good. You also know when your time and energy are being wasted on things that don't really matter. And you can marshal the necessary drive and resources to accomplish the task at hand when you want to. Okay? This language is specific to a negative valuation. You can understand the consequences of your specific choices and actions and what kind of results you'll likely get in the end. You can focus on the positive direct benefits that will result from your actions and the negative risks associated with your actions. You can be productive and you can understand when something needs to be improved, if it needs to be finished, or even if it needs to be rebuilt. Now here it comes, folks. That being said, you are currently experiencing some personal resistance or inattentiveness and apprehension towards someone or the assigned applications or processes within your environment. In other words, this person is choosing to procrastinate because they either don't believe it's important, don't want to do it, or do not appreciate who or what is telling them to do it. You see? That's what's happening. All right? Let's see now. Now, this is interesting. So, if we look at the strengths here, you can see this person clearly understands when to act swiftly with strong practical horse sense. That's not the problem. I got a typo here. Dadgummit, got to fix that. So, this person is lacking attention to certain social responsibilities, organizational status, or some deadlines. They're relying less on she's relying less on her good common sense. She's not relying on the common sense I know she has when deciding what to do next. She's confusing her priorities, focusing too much on the bits and pieces and the risks involved as opposed to getting the results. See, what's happening? The structured thinking's kicking in here. See? Look at it. See that? Look at that. There it is. The structured thinking's kicking in. So there's an anal retentiveness going on. So clearly, they know what should be done. Now, remember, back here, you see this down here? Defiant. Defiant. What does this mean? This is a person who is disorderly. Disorderly. Remember the orderly score in the conscientious part of the big five was a 45. It's low, right? So not orderly, disorderly, compliance. Do what I say. No, I'm not going to do what you say. See, disorderly, independent. I want to do what I want. Well, when you have an axiological perfectionist here, see this? Perfectionist. When you have an axiological perfectionist, all right, anal retentive, they are a perfectionist by the book. But it's not your book they're by. She's by her own book. I'm not doing that. I want to do what I want to do, and I'm going to pursue it and highly value it to the point of where I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to do it any other way but my way. And when you look at the practical thinking, to the tune of, I'm not going to do it if it's not my way. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to turn my urgency off until I can figure out a way to get my way to happen. I've got to figure out how to convince you to let me do this my way. But what will a true believer do in this case? Likely, they'll just act like or tell you they're going to do it, and then they don't. They just don't. They just don't. It's like, I thought you said, and they just look at you, huh? What? What do you mean? That's what they do. It's unbelievable. It's hilarious, actually. So that's what we got going on here in the structured thinking. We got anal retentive. But look at this. Break the rules. I'll break your rule, and I'll keep my own rule. Oh, this is powerful. All right, let's go to the self-summary. Oh, look at that. Oh. Uh-oh. We got a situation here, folks. 62. This is not very operative. Disheartened. Disheartened. All right. Let's go to the self-esteem score. Let's see this in... Oh. Okay, look at this self-esteem. How clearly does she see her own human value? Not very clearly. This girl does not see her value. Oh, man. Hold on now. My mind's just putting all this together now. I'm redirecting all these dots on my emotional star chart in my head. I'm putting this together now. So this is goodness. This is potential, human goodness, her human potential, her human goodness. Anything good. You're really good at that? Well, not yet. I could get better. So not good enough. So the good isn't good enough. The good isn't good enough. What about her potential for bad? Look at that. I'm a bad person. Right there. I'm a bad person. Really? Okay, you're a bad person? How about I doubt it? All right, I doubt it. So where did you get that information? Who told you you were a bad person? Remember God in the garden myth, in the Genesis narrative? Who told you you were naked? Remember that? Right here. Right here. The serpent. Huh? The serpent. If you think that's a devil, you're crazy. That's in here. That serpent is right between your ears. And it's talking right now. Here it is. All right. Wow. Lost. Lost in Space. Used to watch that when I was a kid. She's lost in space. She has no confidence in her functional abilities. No confidence. Now, she feels competent at times. Oh, I don't need any help. And then, oh my gosh, I need help. Well, which is it? You see that? When you get these wide swings, 7-6, back and forth, this is a seesaw. This is a seesaw, competent seesaw. Incompetent on Monday, competent on Wednesday, incompetent on Friday. Confident? Never. Never. So that's not good. Where are you going, my dear? She has no clue. Look at this. Her sense of purpose, gone. No purpose. You got to be careful when you don't have a purpose because you'll start to make mischief. Did you hear me? When people don't have purpose, they start to make mischief. You know, when unemployment rises, so does crime. When unemployment rises, so does crime. Okay? When, idle hands, right? Idle hands are the devil's playground. You ever heard that? When people start to lack purpose, their brain has to compensate. Okay? And you know what that can mean sometimes? An affair. An affair. Oh yeah. I'm not saying that's here, but I wouldn't be shocked. Value matrix. Yeah, that's not good. See these self scores? That's why we got a 62. Wow. So back to behavior. You see this word up here? Closed. What does that mean? Off limits, no vacancy. So how much do I know about Susie Q here? Nothing. How much would her partner know about her? Not much. Why? Closed. Look at that. Hopes things work out. Concedes, which is a form of surrender. This person is given up in a sense, but probably hasn't told anybody. Matter of fact, I could be the only person in the world right now who knows what's going on inside this girl's heart and head. It's incredible. So I saw this in my I saw this profile in my database, and it was taken in early February, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I remember this. This is the wife of somebody I did a little while ago, and I offered to do it pro bono. I can't remember where the mail came from or what was the situation. I think it was just a random call off the internet. I did their profile. They did a paid engagement with me, and they flipped out. They loved it. And then there was something in me that wanted to do the person's wife, and I just had a sixth sense about it. So when that happens, because I never will sell you something that you don't want, okay? It's sort of like this. If I ever invite you to dinner, to go out to dinner with us, I'm paying, or I don't invite you. If I invite, I pay. That's how I think. So if I invite you or someone you know to do the assessment, I pay for it. That's how I operate. And that's what I did here. And I'm glad I did it because there's a lot going on here. So what I did earlier today is I put an email to this person and said, hey, I noticed, because I noticed this morning and decided, I didn't open it up and look all through it. I noticed it was in there and I was looking at it because I was going through my thing here to see who I could use as a template to talk to you today. And I saw it and I sent the email to her and said, hey, your thing's done. You never did anything with it. Would you like to have a debrief? And I just kind of hope coaxing her out, to see if she'll do it. And so what I got to do is I got to remember. So hopefully she'll do it and I'll debrief her. And then on one of my next upcoming videos, I'll say, remember that girl? I did it. Dead on. It was dead on. Like, I can't wait to do that. And then to see what's going on. And because you don't know who this is in the world of 7 billion people, I can tell you, and it won't affect them because they don't even know I'm on YouTube. So anyway, it'll be great. Okay, well, you know what? That's all I'm going to do today. What time is it? Good. Yeah, I got some engagements coming up, so I'm ahead of them. I got plenty of time, so I wanna eat. I'm starving, right? I want to eat. And what's been really good for me is having these Invisaligns. They're really curbing my eating because it's so much work. I got to take them out, and taking them out is disgusting. You take them out, you got to peel it out, and then it's always stringing out of you. It's disgusting. I hate doing it. And then you got to brush them with the water. I put them in peroxide, and then I eat, and then I got to brush my teeth. I rinse with mouthwash. I floss, and then I put them back in. It's a real undertaking, so I don't like doing it. So I'm not snacking at all anymore. Not that I snack a lot. I'm not a big snacker. But my goal this year, I don't know why I'm telling you all this, but I'll just finish. My goal this year is to lose 12 pounds by July. Okay, at least 12. If I could lose 15, I would be ecstatic. But it's really hard because I am in shared existence all the time. So me and my wife both work from home. We're together all the time. I mean, she's out working. She has her own business. I have mine. But when she comes back, we're inseparable. And she's always extremely concerned about my health. And she's like a nurse with me / almost mother. And, I want to be like, I'm not going to eat this week. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to eat anything. I'm going to drink water and pow through and lose 5 pounds. And she's like, that's not healthy. And then I got this back. And it's so annoying that I can't just do what I want. I mean, I can, but there's mechanisms in play that will have to be seriously disrupted. Like we get, the box of food that comes to the house. It's all keto and all that. And there's all that would get disrupted. So I'm trying to work through all this to get this weight off. because it makes me unhappy. I don't think I look bad. It just makes me unhappy. And I want to be happy there. So that's what I'm trying to do. Hello? I don't know why I told you all that. But I did. Anyway, put comments in the comment section. One person did last time. Look, I don't have a following on YouTube at all, which is fine. I just started doing these a little while ago, and then I never tell anybody I'm doing it. I just do it and move on and do my own thing, and no one really knows about it. But if you enjoy it, or you think you know somebody who could enjoy it, reach out, let them know. I'd like to grow this because I'm having fun doing it, and the more I grow it, the more apt I am to do this, and I want to do it because I enjoy it. It's like going to the gym. You hate everything up to walking in the gym door and picking up the first weight, and then once you do that, you love that you're there. It's getting there that's the problem, and that's the way this is. It's getting this done that is the problem. But the more people that are expecting something, commenting, and I can go over things and answer questions, the better it gets, and it can be really fun. Especially if you are a coach or a consultant or something like that, and you use tools, you want to use tools, and you want to use the best tools available, then mine are available to you, because you can basically have your own dashboard and all 4 of these assessments at your disposal, and you can subscribe to that and pay monthly like QuickBooks and have your own tools that are under constant development, always being made better, always thoroughly researched. This is 16 years of my life in here. So it's very good stuff. And I wasn't an assessment seller ever. And now we're starting to open it up to where we created humanacumen.com. And now we're going to be, this whole year we're getting all this set up. So we're going to be providing this to all you coaches, consultants, and doctors, and therapists, and psychiatrists, and whoever's out there who would love to be able to access the brain like this. And then we also have a really heavy-duty training program if you're interested in getting certified with us, to be an axiologist or a behaviorist, whatever, and be able to be a magician at reading people. Man, it's unbeatable. It's great. It's fun. And there's nothing more fulfilling than helping somebody see their true, authentic self, and then they can be the best version of themselves possible. I love it. I live for it. It's wonderful. But thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And going to stop the recording now. Until next time, this is Stephen Sisler, your behavioral analyst and axiologist extraordinaire. We'll catch up next time. Thanks.